Continuing the Halachot of Birkat Ha'Levana, the question arises, does a woman have to bless Birkat Ha'Levana? Should she bless? Should she not? The common practice, we all know the minhag, is that women do not bless. The question is, why not? Why should they not bless? Or maybe they should bless. So, first there's a fundamental machloket between the Rambam and Rabbeinu Tam. We know the Gemara in Kiddushin, the Mishnah really says that mitzvah taseh shazman gerama, נשים פטורות. Meaning that whenever there's a time-bound mitzvah, a positive mitzvah that is also time-bound, it has those two conditions, women are exempt. The question is, if they want to perform the mitzvah, obviously they're permitted. Maybe they're not going to get the same sechar as someone gadol mitzuveh ve'oseh, someone who is commanded to do the mitzvah and does so gets a greater reward than someone who's not commanded. But if they want to do it, they could. For example, arbat aminim, to sit in the sukkah, it's a time-bound positive mitzvah. It's Halacha Moshe b'Sinai, really, that they're patur, and therefore they don't have to. But if they want to sit in the sukkah, they will be rewarded. They could do so. Can they bless when they sit in the sukkah? Can they bless when they shake arbat aminim? Or can a lady bless when she hears the sound of a shofar on Rosh Hashanah? So Rabbeinu Tam says yes. Why not? He says, even though they don't have to do it, they could do so. And that is the psak of the Ramah. Rabbi Moshe Isuliz, he writes that a woman could bless on a time-bound mitzvah, that's a positive mitzvah, they could bless. But the Rambam writes, how could she bless? Asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu? Who commanded her to bless? She's not commanded, it's a bracha levatala. That's what the Rambam holds, and the Shulchan Aruch famously, in multiple places, brings that lema'aseh. There is a book called Shut Min HaShamayim, Shelot VeTshuvot. One of the great Rishonim, Rabbi Yaakov Mimoryash. He lived in the 1200s, the early 1200s. He was one of the Baalei Tosafot. And he wrote a book of Shelot and Tshuvot that he went to sleep. Prior to going to sleep, he would ask, I'm not so sure how he did it, he would ask in Shamayim a question that he had, and he would wake up and he'd have a dream, some with Ruach HaKodesh or a Nevuah, and he would receive answers. Actually, the first question in his book, I read it this morning, he asked, can a woman bless on a time-bound mitzvah or not? That's what he asked. And they told him, Mishamayim, of course they could. They should do that, and it's a very powerful thing to do, just like they do Ner Hanukkah, just like they do mitzvah Megillah. Same thing, they should do Arbat Aminim, Leshev Basukah, and also Tkiyat Shofar. He doesn't speak about all of them, he addresses those three. The Chida, one of the great Sephardi poskim, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai, he writes that if Rabbi Yosef Karo were to see this book, Shut Min HaShamayim, he would have been Hozer Bo. He would have retracted what he originally said and he would have agreed. He asked in Shamayim, what should you do? And they said to bless. So that's what the Chida writes. What did you say? Lo b'shamayim. Very good. So many of the poskim said the famous words of the Gemara in Baba Metzia, Daf Nun Tet, when they said about Rabbi Eliezer, Shamayim yochichu, and a heavenly voice went out and said, Halakha is like Rabbi Eliezer, in the famous machloket, the Tanuot Shel Achnai, different machloket. But famously, the Chachamim said, Lo b'shamayim. So here too, Chacham Ovadia brings many of the great Achronim who say, we would say that same clause, the same statement, and say, Lo b'shamayim, and we follow the psak of Rabbi Yosef Karo. So in general, that's the psak that we follow. The question is, here in Birkat Ha'Levana, so Ashkenazim seemingly should bless, right? Based on the rule that the Ramah holds, they should always bless on mitzvah taseh shezman gerama. They're allowed to bless here too. But the Mishnah Berurah comes and says that a lady should not bless Birkat Ha'Levana. Why not? He says, he quotes the Magen Avraham, who brings in the name of the Shla Kadosh, the Rav Horowitz, Shnei Luchot HaBrit, and he says there that נשים גרמו את פגם הלבנה. Don't ask me to explain this. I saw an explanation. I'm not so sure what this means. It's a Kabbalistic concept that the ladies caused the pgam, the blemish of the moon, with the sin of Chava. When Eve sinned with the tree with Etz Hadat, she caused a blemish in the Etz Hadat, and she did a blemish in the Levana, and that's why she has a menstrual cycle. He explains that just like a lady has a menstrual cycle for 7 days midoraita, same too, the moon, we bless Sfaradim at least after 7 full days. So he says it has to do with the same thing, just like the Nida is a tikkun for her sin, same too the moon, and he brings a few other examples. But that's what he says. So that is the main reason. I know it's Kabbalistic reason, we don't really understand the depth of it. I don't personally. But that is the minhag. Chacham Ovadia, I'll just conclude with this. he writes, "Af al pi shelo ra'inu she'anashim yivarchu birkat ha'Levana." Meaning he's agreeing the simple custom is not to bless. מכל מקום, ראוי ונכון שישמעו את הברכה, את ברכת הלבנה, מפי איש המברך. It is fitting for them to listen to ברכת הלבנה from a man blessing. והתכוונו לצאת ידי חובתן, שומע כעונה. And the reason for this is the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, the Gemara I mentioned yesterday, 2 lines before where I started. The Gemara asked, and I'll conclude with this. Rav Acha le Rav Ashi, he asked Rav Ashe, B'marva, in the land of Israel, Mevarche Baruch v'chadesh chodashim. They say a small bracha b'kat ha'levana, not the whole text that we say. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, mechadesh chodashim, sof b'kat ha'levana, they go home, alamak, that's it. That's all they do. And he said to him, Amar lo, Hai, afilu nashe didan nami mevarche. That even a woman could bless. The Meiri comes and says, we see from here, the pshat of the Gemara, that a woman could bless the short text of b'kat ha'levana. So, comes Chacham Ovadia, he brings the Meiri, he brings many Rishonim that say women are chayav in Birkat Ha'Levana. But we said it's time bound. He says no, it isn't. He says that mitzvot like bikurim that have a specific time, but because of something that's seasonal, that's not called a time bound thing. It's very difficult to understand what this really means. There's a lot of yotzei min haklal. But women also bless Birkat HaChama, which happens once every 28 years. And he says the same idea there. It's something that happens a certain amount of time, but it's because of the positioning of the moon. So really, if the moon were out, she would bless any day. But it happens to be that the moon's not out in certain times. So that's why it's like a time-bound mitzvah, but it's really not considered. So for that reason, many say that women should bless Birkat Ha'Levana. L'ma'aseh, we would definitely say Safek B'chod La'akel. She's not allowed to bless. If she could hear from somebody else, Tavo Alecha Birkat HaTov. But again, I've never seen a woman do that in my life. So minhag Israel Torah, the simple minhag is that they do not do that. Chazak v'baruch.